going on YouTube? It is Repulse back in another video. In today's video, we have a Chelsea news video. You can hear me grinning. It was a major news video day today, but obviously it's very good news that came in today. Not any bad news, I don't think. Club made a lot of money today. And yeah, it's a great day to be a Chelsea fan. It's a horrible day to be an Arsenal fan. So why not just dig into it so we can just banter the banter club of all banter clubs. So yeah, to begin. Fabrizio said that Chelsea and Arsenal are going to keep working on the Nani Madueke deal. He's going to tell you more soon. And followed that up with an exclusive that Nani Madueke to Arsenal is a here we go. The fee agreed is in excess of £50 million with add-ons included. Green light from Chelsea. Madueke already agreed a 5-year deal at Arsenal days ago, and now he's set to complete the move. The winger leaves Chelsea to join Arsenal. This was followed up by David Ornstein, saying Arsenal close to full agreement with Chelsea to sign Nani Madueke. Club's near compromise for 23-year-old winger to join Arsenal from Chelsea in a £52 million deal. 5-year contract in place, England international in the USA as talks enter the final stages. Followed up by Ben Jacobs also saying that it was a £52 million fee deal currently being finalized. Unclear if Madueke will feature in the Club World Cup final. I doubt he does. He trained this morning. He was in the live stream, if anyone watched that. Obviously, Robert Sanchez didn't train with the goalkeepers, but he was with the squad doing recovery work. Madueke has already agreed terms on a 5-year deal that, ends in 2030 that we all know. But yeah, it's unclear whether he'll play. And then this. Madueke decided to seek a new challenge away from Chelsea after the club signed Delap, Esteval, Gittins, and João Pedro, which basically just means he didn't want to compete, which makes no sense because he's going to Arsenal literally to compete, to maybe play in the left wing, to compete for playing time on that right-hand side after Bukayo Saka subs out. So yeah, didn't really make sense to me, but Arsenal, I don't know what you're doing. You just gave us the golden opportunity to go inside Rodrigo. Obviously, Real Madrid are open to selling him. It's just whether or not he wants to go. And if we just add £20 million from the Club World Cup that we've won, we have Rodrigo through the door as Madueke's replacement. I mean, I love Arsenal. Obviously, I hate them as a club, but I love them for what they do to Chelsea. Gave us £57 million this window between Kepa and Madueke. I don't know if that 52 is that fixed fee and then there's still more add-ons, or that's the total package. But yeah, thank you, Arsenal. You know what I think on Nani Madueke. I don't think he's really going to grow that much. I definitely think there's a player in there, but just hasn't really shown any signs of improvement. He had a really good start to the season, obviously, really bad end to the season, and just pretty much seemed like he was done with the club, done with the team, just stopped trying in these last couple games. But also at the same time, at the end of the season, didn't track back, didn't do any of the defensive work that Pedro Neto does. It was just really hard to say, yes, I want Nani Madueke playing. But obviously we didn't have the wingers to say, bench Nani Madueke. But now that we have Esteval, now that we have Gittins, now that we have João Pedro that can play on the wing, now that Cole Palmer can play on the wing, now that Pedro Neto's found for him, Madueke does not have a spot at this club anymore. And I think that's very apparent, and I think that's why he left. But I don't know if he has that big of a spot at Arsenal either, especially if they sign Eze. They essentially are giving us $52 million for a bench player, and we double our profit and get rid of a player that I doubt we play much next season. And it also gives Esteval a bigger platform to succeed next season, which is great. I think it's a fantastic move all around, and I can't thank Arsenal enough for being the club to hand our scraps to give that $52 million to register to UEFA to get them off our backs with that compromise that we made. Madueke is part of that. There's a player later that's also left the club that I will touch on. But yeah, I mean, Madueke is off to Arsenal in a £52 million deal. I actually couldn't believe it when I saw it. When I saw this tweet, I was like, okay, maybe an update. He's gonna tell us more soon. Yes, I know they're working on the deal. The deal progressed very quickly. I'll give credit to Arsenal on that. If they thought Nani was their top target, they did progress on the deal very quickly. Credit to them. If that's really what they wanted and desperately wanted Nani Madueke to come through the door, they succeeded in doing the deal quickly because, obviously the leak that they were interested in him was like maybe a week ago or so, but they only came with the bid yesterday and they finished the deal today. So, credit to Arsenal for, finishing the deal as quick as they wanted to, I guess. But, I mean, thanks for taking him off our hands so quickly, so now we can go and sign Rodrigo, who might be unhappy at Real Madrid because he didn't play that many games. Obviously that's a little delusional. I don't know if we get Rodrigo, but maybe we get a Morgan Rogers. It just opens up the door with the amount of money that they're paying us and the amount of money we're getting from the Club World Cup. But yeah, they progressed on the deal super quick. This deal happened super fast. Yeah, he told us he would tell us more soon 2 hours ago, and then basically like 30 minutes later, he said, "Here we go." So I guess that's what he meant, that the deal was basically about to be done. He just didn't know when it will be done. So he said, just pretty much hang tight. I'm gonna tell you when it's done in this tweet, and then obviously said the exclusive, or I guess that was from his YouTube video, and this was his tweet, which was pretty much like 30 minutes after he said those words on YouTube. Um, yeah, agreed personal terms only a couple days ago, and now he's gonna be an Arsenal player. One thing I want to say is I do not want him to play in the Club World Cup final at all. Don't know if there's going to be some sabotage there or not. Obviously, PSG are an incredible side. I didn't end up doing a match review yesterday. I apologize for that, but also the game was not very close at all. I feel the game spoke for itself. I didn't really need to do a match review. I probably would have been scared the entire time talking about how good PSG are. But also, Real Madrid defended as poor as ever, so there's that. But yeah, I don't want Madueke to feature in the final on Sunday, obviously. Um, and it seems like he doesn't want competition, but then he goes to a club where he knows he's gonna have to compete. So I don't know. Didn't really make sense to me, but obviously don't know what Delap has to do with it. Delap is not gonna play right wing. He's gonna be a number 9, and Pedro and Gittins are gonna play on that left hand side. Obviously Pedro can play on the right, but that's if we have no other right winger, and obviously Pedro Neto is gonna be our starting right winger this season, which I'm in favor of. Um, yeah, I think he's been great this Club World Cup. I think he's really progressed the ball well. He's finding his crossing game again. He's also finding that goal scoring tally. So yeah, I, I mean, yeah. Thank you, Arsenal. Thanks for getting Nani off our hands. Thank you for giving us 52 million at the very least. To move forward with. And yeah, Madueke to Arsenal is a here we go. Um, Next, we have Petrovic potentially off to Bournemouth. We know this. This was broke maybe a day ago, maybe 2 days ago, but it was on the video yesterday. So go check that out if you do want an update, because obviously we spoke about Madueke and we also spoke about Petrovic. That was a major news video yesterday, just in terms of a lot to talk about. Not really anything happening, just a lot to talk about. But Simon Johnson of The Athletic said that Bournemouth are in advanced talks with Chelsea over the signing of Petrovic. Petrovic was given the green light to find himself a club with the gentleman's agreement between Chelsea and the goalkeeper that he could leave for a fee in the region of £25 million. We know this already. This has been reported multiple times about the gentleman's agreement. It's been since, he was out of the Club World Cup squad and apparently decided that he did not want to be a Chelsea player anymore and just decided, hey, let me go have a new challenge. Obviously, you're not giving me the game time I want, which I think he warranted with his performances at Strasbourg. So, I don't blame him for going to find a new club or a new challenge, because I do think he warranted at least getting some game time over Robert Sanchez. And if he didn't seem to fare well in the Club World Cup, then obviously you could look for a move, or you could give the argument to him, hey, we gave you the opportunity, but you didn't really succeed. Um, so, you can either be a number 2 here, or we can let you go. And then the gentleman's agreement came into play, but that never happened. We just gave him the gentleman's agreement straight up because we said, hey, we're not going to guarantee you the number 1 spot at all. So yeah, that's Petrovic out the door. It seems like he's pretty much off to Bournemouth at this point. They're in advanced talks. I expect that here we go imminently. I think it could be tomorrow. I think could even be tonight. But yeah, that's pretty much Petrovic off to Bournemouth. Obviously, Fabrizio tweeted 17 hours ago. After official bid set on Wednesday, Bournemouth are confident to get the deal done. Understand Petrovic has already accepted to join. Final green light from Chelsea expected soon. Yeah, so as I said like 2 seconds ago, it's pretty much a done deal. It's just when is it going to be reported? We know it's going to be £25 million, 30 million euros. I think that's pretty much set in stone. And I think it's a good deal for Bournemouth. I think he could succeed there. Obviously, he's going to be the number 1 there. I hope he doesn't come back to taunt us and have the game of his life when we play Bournemouth. We play them twice next season, obviously, as a Premier League side. But yeah, I hope he doesn't come back to haunt us. Obviously, a tremendous goalkeeper, who's only growing and getting better. And I think £25 million is a good fee for Bournemouth, a good deal for them, but also good profit from Chelsea to profit on a player that we spent 14 million on but had at the club for 2 years. Um, so yeah, that is Petrovic off to Bournemouth, pretty much done. Sorry, I thought there was one more, but there wasn't. But yeah, I do feel we mistreated him. I've spoken my opinion on Petrovic before. I think definitely could have been a better goalkeeper than Robert Sanchez, but Robert Sanchez has been good of late. So I'm not going to discredit him. He was pretty bad against Fluminense. Almost let that goal in for no reason. He just didn't want to come off his line. He was stuck to his line like glue. But um, besides that bozo moment. He was pretty good in the game. Didn't have much to do. In the tournament, he's not been bad at all. I don't recall a very bad game besides that Fluminense game. Um, and obviously that Palmeiras Esteval goal. Yes, a hard save. Yes, a difficult save. But if you cover your near post, you're fine. I understand what he was trying to do. He thought Esteval would cross it. He would be in the middle. He would be able to, stop the cross. But that just wasn't the case. Esteval ended up shooting. Sanchez was caught off his line. It was a goal. So, some disappointing moments in this tournament for sure, which I think Petrovic doesn't really do, and I think he got a lot better with the ball at his feet last season. But them's the breaks. Petrovic is pretty much off to Bournemouth. Here we go could be even tonight or in the news video tomorrow, but I do have a big video planned for tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Moving on to the player that you just saw 2 seconds ago, because I accidentally right-clicked because I thought there was one more thing on Petrovic, but there wasn't. Nicholas Jackson. Fabrizio said that be attentive to Nicholas Jackson at Chelsea. He's hearing that he could leave this summer, and it's getting concrete and serious interest from several clubs, including Premier League ones. Um, and then he said that AC Milan are dreaming of signing Nicholas Jackson, but he is too expensive at the moment, which is funny. How the tables have turned. You want Nicholas Jackson? You really want Nicholas Jackson? Just give us Mike Mignon and pay us the money that we want. Um, give us Mike Mignon, give us 40 million, and you can get Nicholas Jackson, and then fair deal. You don't have to pay 50, you don't have to pay 60. You can just give us a player in return that we want. Um, yeah, I'm all in favor of Nicholas Jackson leaving. Obviously, I expect João Pedro to be playing predominantly as a 9 next season with the lap. And I think Nkunku could stay at this point. He's looked great. Um, the way that they played on against Fluminense, I would have rather Nkunku stay than Jackson stay, but obviously that's only one game. I would rather Jackson stay than Nkunku stay at the basis of last season, obviously, but this new system that Maresca is running seems to really suit Nkunku, so I wouldn't be mad at the idea of him staying. I wouldn't be mad at the idea of Jackson staying, but both of them leave the club, I'm not mad either. Um, it's just how much are you gonna get for Jackson? I think 45 to 55, maybe even 60 is what you can get for Jackson. I think it's a wide range. Obviously, there's a lot of potential there if he fixes up his finishing. Really good at carrying the ball as a striker and linking up play and making those in behind runs. Needs to learn to read defensive lines better, just so he isn't offside so much. But if he gets finishing in his bag, he's pretty much one of the top strikers in the world. So, he's a perfect project player. That's the way I describe Nicholas Jackson. He's the perfect project player, which means that he's perfect to bridge a team to go back to the Champions League or, where they're destined to be. Obviously, he did do that for Chelsea. He was a perfect bridge player for the years that we did need somewhat of a number 9. Um, and I think he could do that for AC Milan, who finished 10th in Italy last season. No European football. I think he could drag them back up there. Um, yeah, obviously that's also another one of Chelsea's retirement homes for some reason. I guess everyone just goes to a retirement home today. Arsenal, AC Milan, those two. Strasbourg's our development. We had a player go there today, which I will speak about imminently. But yeah, AC Milan are dreaming of signing Nicholas Jackson. Okay, give us Mike Mignon. It's pretty much that. Yeah, he said again that Nicholas Jackson has concrete chances to leave Chelsea. Clubs in the Premier League and Italy are calling out to find the eventual conditions of the deal. One to watch. I don't know who the clubs in the Prem would be. I could see Man United and I could see Tottenham as the two, but Tottenham have been spending money like crazy. They got Kudus and then they got Morgan Gibbs-White today. Apparently, he had a release clause that Man City just never triggered or never knew about or something. I don't even know. But Tottenham triggered that today. I don't know if they're gonna pay it all up front, but yeah, Tottenham are spending money like crazy, um, and I guess improving their side to an extent. It does look a lot more intriguing when you have Champions League football and obviously Thomas Frank coming in to stabilize the ship and or not hopefully drive them forward, but for a Tottenham fan, hopefully drive them forward. But yeah, Nicholas Jackson could go to Tottenham. I could see that happening. Obviously, Solanke wasn't that great last season, but I do think Man United would be a great fit for him if it's the Premier League. Again, that bridge striker to bring them back to where they need to be. Um, I could see him go there. I could see him go to Arsenal. Um, I really could. I know that that's a laughing matter right now because obviously Madueke just went there, but I could see Nicholas Jackson going there. Because they do need number 9 very badly, and I don't think they're getting Gyökeres anymore. I don't know what happened to that deal. Um, I don't think Rodrigo's going there. I don't know if Eze goes there. I think Eze will be their next signing. But that's 70 on Zubamendi. That's 52 on Madueke at the very least, and then that's probably 60 on Eze. So that's 180 million. So I don't know if they have the funds to really bring in a Gyökeres if Eze is their main target. So maybe they go cheap and they get Nicholas Jackson, who's not cheap, but he's cheaper than Gyökeres, obviously. Or he could go off to Man United. But yeah, that is that on Nicholas Jackson. And to wrap up the video, we're talking about two more players that are off to the Berg. Matthias Amougou has gone to Strasbourg on a permanent deal, says L'Equipe. Fabrizio says that Amougou will join Strasbourg on a permanent deal from Chelsea. Plan confirmed since February. We've known this for a while. That's why I'm going pretty quickly through it. And 4 hours ago said that all signed on a permanent deal. There's a contract until 2030. Sorry, I just messed up my wording. With the buyback clause and not using a loan spot. Obviously, we know Payas and someone we're getting to next are going there. And then maybe one more secret player. We know Ishe Samuel Smith is most likely going to Strasbourg as well on a permanent deal. But Amougou is also going on a permanent deal to Strasbourg, apparently. Everything is all signed and finalized. And that's a quick deal. I think, we pretty much just matched the fee we paid Saint Etienne, which is, I think, £12 million, and then we get a buyback clause if he plays well at Strasbourg. Because I think there is a player in there. He didn't really look all too bad when he came on, which was very rare, but, did come on a couple times in the Conference League and stuff like that. But yeah, he's off to Strasbourg. Think this was the plan all along. And we do get him on the books since he played in the Conference League for the UEFA breaches that we need to pay off. So, good deal altogether. And then lastly, Mike Pender's close to joining Strasbourg after Philip Jorgensen refused to join. I think Chelsea wanted to keep him for next season, to be honest. But, if Jorgensen refuses to join, might as well send Mike Penders there. They don't have a keeper. Petrovic isn't going there. He's going off to Bournemouth. So I think this deal makes sense altogether. Yeah, Mike Penders is off to Strasbourg. Obviously, the 7-7 or not 7-7, 6-7 talent out of Belgium off to Strasbourg apparently on loan for next season. Yeah, let him develop. Let him get better with the ball at his feet. Let him get some first team game time, which obviously he's not going to get here. And that's that. So yeah, that's pretty much everything in terms of news today. There was a lot. I was planning on doing something else, which will be up tomorrow, but yeah, there was a lot that went on today, so definitely had to make something out of it. But yeah, if you did enjoy, please be sure to like, subscribe, and you know the drill. As always, it's Repulse, and I'm out. Peace.